Hello there, kia ora. Do you know what a 1988 Ministerial advisory group once called the most insidious and destructive form of racism in this country? I'll give you a clue. It's not slurs, it's not physical attacks. It's actually something that still happens to this day. That there are political parties in power in government at the moment that are actively trying to enforce it, and there's outside organizations that are trying to control the dialogue around race in this country who are promoting this insidious ideology. It's institutional racism. See, institutional racism is the outcome of monocultural organizations that have developed over time that ignore or freeze out cultures of those that don't belong to a dominant group within society. It creates a differential access to resources and power, and it leads to inequitable outcomes for those marginalized groups within society. So much research has been done on that in this country, particularly around the health system. There's so much that you can find in a range of places like university libraries as well as online. Denying it, though, denying the existence of this, is a barrier to equality because it allows for victim blaming explanations of systemic inequality. And it allows those that are pushing for the status quo for that racism to continue to deny any responsibility for the continued effects of systemic racism. A 2022 study done by the American Psychological Association shows that people who deny or advocate for these systems with entrenched systemic racism built into them are less likely to show racial empathy or openness to diversity. And in this country, we've got a number of organisations who do this, like NZCPR, the Taxpayers Union, ACT, New Zealand First, National, the Free Speech Union, and Hobson's Pledge. They all argue the idea that there should be equal resources given to everyone and everyone has the same footing, but it ignores systemic institutional racism at its core. Whereas trying to deal with that particular racism and those particular issues that it increases leads to much more equitable outcomes for everybody. And so when you get an organization like NZCPR, for example, that are pushing a really specific ideology, to call them racist isn't necessarily because they're there using things like racial slurs or out there, I don't know, graffitiing buildings about it, but it's because they're trying to entrench racially segregating systems that go out of their way to keep one particular group in society marginalized while promoting the outlooks of a dominant group within society. So, for all those people who were watching my video the other day who made comments like this, going, wow, you called them racist, so that doesn't count, I just want to point out a couple of things. One, they are pushing racist ideologies. Two, I'm not the only one who says it, they have a history of this. And three, by promoting and ignoring what it is that they're actually pushing, you are actually complicit in pushing that kind of ideology yourself. You might not necessarily consider yourself a racist, most people don't, but taking a look at those particular ideologies that are designed to keep one group of society down while promoting another, that's racism.